things that was interesting, pre-pandemic, retail was struggling. I think it's not unfair to say that, even though the economy was getting better. And part of the view was that people were spending more money on experiences. They were more interested in spending money on experiences than clothes themselves. Do you think that changes in a post-pandemic world, or do you think that accelerates?
Well, experiences, there was a lot more travel. I mean, travel clearly slowed down for a while, for a moment. So I think that now people are, decorating their homes. Anybody that is involved in home decorating has done well because you spend so much time at home. So it's, fashion is always a reflection of its time. And we had grown so much. There was so much more more new. I mean, obviously it was bound to happen in any case. And this just accelerated. I mean, this pandemic that was completely unexpected just made things happen that would have happened anyway. And that's what happens during, after an earthquake. And basically, this is like an earthquake.
What about selling itself, meaning the retail store, which, of course, fell out of favor for online? Then there was the move towards, the rent-a-runway kind of thing. And I know that you got involved in that business, that kind of business for a while, subscription business. What do you think that whole world looks like when this is over?
I think there will still be a little bit of everything. I think that what every brand has to do is go back to their core and make sure they focus on what differentiates them. And I think people won't have the verge of changing all the time. So that's why you need clothes that are in your closet, that are your friends, that you go to because they make you feel better, they make you appear fast and quick in the word way. So it's a change of society. None of us can predict where society is going to go.
Let's talk about the book for a little bit here because
it's a
fascinating book. But there it is. You said it was cathartic writing this book and cathartic doing so in the middle of the crisis. What do you mean?
Well, first of all, they approached me, the publisher approached me to do this. It's these small books that are like guidebooks. They are very gift-oriented. And they said, people quote you all the time. Would you give us a book of quotes and your wisdom and blah, blah, blah. And it is true that I have reached the age where, it's time for me to use my voice, my experience, my knowledge, my connection in order to help other women. And so I had when I first started, people said, what did you want to do when you grew up? And I said, well, I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I knew what kind of woman I wanted to be. I wanted to be a woman in charge. And then they say, who do you dress? And I dress always the woman in charge. But what does it mean to be in charge? Well, to be in charge is not aggressive. It's really a commitment to yourself. It's owning who we are. You own your imperfection, they become your asset. You own your vulnerability, it becomes your strength. So own it is really, I realize, and especially at the time of pandemic, that there's no time to blame, to shame, to complain. We're facing the situation. We had to own it. So I made this little book, and I started as a prose, but it was boring and condescending. So I did it as a dictionary. And I picked 268 words that spoke to me. And sometimes it's a definition. Sometimes it's an anecdote. But it all brings us to the fact that the only secret to life is to own it.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.